Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I've got a non-bingo-y rack with double U and Y, but the rest of it's pretty good. So I think my options are changing or playing Yord. Let me see what this scores. 16 and retaining the U, but this rack lever is not worth minus 16. I think date is a good rack leave. I am going to change. I may get lucky with my draw. And I don't. Okay. Well, I haven't given any floaters to opponents, nor have I placed a vowel next to a premium square. This isn't a million miles away from a bingo. If a D were an A, I would have fathead. Nice play by opponent. So, do I have a bingo? I have head with DFT, so not seeing one. What about the floaters? A, doesn't look useful. I, and E, no. Okay, so, what to do here? It would be nice to split up the Ds. So I could play Fad for 23. Do I really not have a double-double? Don't think I do. Just wondering about playing Fathead in that position. 28 points. Not a fan of that. What about Faithed? 30 points. That feels a lot better. And, well, not a great rack, but not terrible either. No duplicates, and it's balanced in terms of vowels and consonants. But V and U, not a good combo. I can sort that out with Vodun on my rack or through the D of Jailed. Oh, wow. Fantastic bingo by opponent. So I am on the ropes, early doors. What can I do? Oh, wow. Opponent has just blocked unsolved, and it doesn't play through this E. And I don't think I have another bingo with this rack. Not seeing anything down from the J. Nowhere for Vodun without the score being miserly. I could burn the S. But I don't wish to do that. What about Ovule? 16 points. Decentish Rackley, but only the floating O in terms of vowels. 16 points is grim. Can I really not do any better? Certainly would like to get rid of V and U. How can I do that? Well, I think I will go with Ovule for 16. No vowels at all, but I do draw the blank and I've got an S. Column 2 quite hot if either of us can place a big tile above the O. Can't see my X playing there. I've got ducks through the U. What about this O? Do I have a bingo? I don't think so. The lack of vowels is pretty crippling. And a back-to-back bingo for opponent. They are on fire. And look at that. M, Y, and M and G. Amazing. So what am I going to do? I was expecting opponent to take this O, and they haven't. What about playing ducks? 22 points. Better than changing. Keeping that O free for my vowelless rack. A not available for bingos. I am setting up a hot column 3 play. This doesn't feel best. It would be nice to split up the ends, which I could do with knocks, but then the score is really low. Wow, how much of this is a consequence of my opening move change? I think I am going to go with ducks. If I draw vowels, I'm in a pretty strong position. And I do draw one vowel, that may be enough. I have stend on my rack. And denets. I don't think either plays. I've got unstoned through the O. What about this M? It's a double lane in column 11. The blank would surely be a vowel. So this rack plus an M. Mistend as a 7. And opponent has a triple back-to-back bingo. Okay, well, hats off to opponent. Great game for them. And I think the game is probably out of my reach. Not seeing anywhere for denets or stend. And another natural bingo. So still a blank to come. I have pendants through the P, so I am going to get something on the board. Plus I've got unstoned. But I think I prefer pendants. It's going to score more. Plus it's going to create scoring spots on both sides of the board, column 15 and column 2. Still 47 tiles to come. Opponent may slow down. So pendants for 74. I missed the second blank. And this is a non-bingo-y rack. This spot next to the E looks quite nice for my Y. I could play yup in that spot. What about the O of ovule? Phew, only 24 points for opponent, and my yup spot remains available. Is this best? 31 points. Still 2 ends to come for an ing ending. Can't see how I can score any more. Wow, what would yogic score? 38 points, that's surely better. It is keeping the U, but the Q's to come, and 2 U's, so this could backfire. Still the Z to come, and I'm keeping this Z spot alone. I don't think this rack leave compares really badly with the rack leave after yup. Yep, I'm going with this. And this doesn't look too bad. Not seeing a bingo here, but it's not far off. And I've got a scoring tile in the P, which I can place next to the E of Morris's, or the I of Siltia. Still 30 tiles to come. Great, just 26 points, still a blank and a Z to play for. So what I can do here is up O, and this is a pretty decent 4-letter set, especially with the vowels being your friend, New World Order. How many vowels are left? 16 out of 33, so a balanced bag. Uppo keeps a couple of bingo lanes open. There's the floating sea of yogic, and opponents opened a lane. Only 25 points. I could play epic in that spot, but I think I'd rather play the U. Well, what about playing Uppo in column 14? Leaving this Z spot alone. It scores the same. Well, I don't have the Z, so I'm playing this. Through a T, I would have Faciti. No T available. 3 to come, however. So if opponent played down column 12, placing a T on this double letter square, things could look a bit different. But that's unlikely. Opponent had the Q. Wow. Okay, probably didn't have a U. So what am I going to do here? The F is the non-bingo-y tile. And I'd also like to do something about the duplicates, basically all the tiles I picked. If I play in rows C or E, I'm taking out the column 2 bingo lane. So I could play here for only 22 points. But I am sorting the rack out and leaving bingo lanes open and not turning over a lot of tiles. I am going with this. Well, still no bingo. Floating C. Close to cerebric, but I'd need the A to be an R. Beachier through an H, but no floaters on this board. And opponent unlikely to provide any, unless they bingo again. So what to do? Only 227 points, so quite a drubbing. B is non-bingo-y. Now opponent takes out column 2, so I can play in the top left quite happily. 15 tiles in the bag. The W, not a bingo floater. So I could do this. I could play Bay for 17. Rice is quite decent. I am setting up a Z spot, and I'm only scoring 17 points. What about this? 1 more point, and I'm setting up another Z spot because Waz is good. And a Z spot is far more useful for my opponent than me. 20 points. No Z spot. This is the best of the moves I've considered. I could also play Bice, keeping A, E, R. Let me count the remaining vowels. 11 out of 22. Exactly half the bag, but very few A's and E's, which are the bingo-y vowels. This is 6 more points. Yeah. And I don't think the C goes well with the floating C, because any bingos with 2 C's are going to be low probability, and therefore I may miss them even when I have them. This is turning over 1 more tile, increasing my chances of drawing the blank. I'm going with this. Wow. Okay, so I duplicate the A's and E's, despite the dearth of them in the pool, and I move further away from a bingo, and I think for the first time I don't have a scoring tile. So my target for this game has been reassessed. I'm now looking to see if I can get to 300 points. Game on. I do have a U for the Q, but UE not good, so I can't use that. Just wondering what to do here. 3 duplicates plus a tile I don't like in the U. So I play exactly all the tiles I picked. are the ones I would like to play. So I could play Urea in row B. Not many tiles go above a U. Just G and O, I think. So it's not providing a super hot spot for opponent. About 11 tiles in the bag. If opponent bingos now, there'll be 4. And I would be emptying the bag. But the remaining pool not particularly bingoing. No S's to come, only one E. However, there's a blank, so I don't think one can rule out a bingo. There are certainly lanes, especially column 14 and row N. So is Urea my best option? Only 15 points. That's not massively helping my target. Very few places to play on this board. Gosh, an opponent must feel they're close to a bingo, I think, because they're not blocking bingo lanes and they've only played one tile. Just wondering if I should try and spoil opponent's bingo chances by playing Urea down here. But is that just setting up a really hot Z spot for opponent? But maybe they don't have the Z, because they turned over one tile. Surely if they had the Z, they would have played it for points. So I think this has merit. It's taking out a bingo lane. The new bingo lane it creates requires a 3-tile overlap. Can I make this even longer? I don't think so. I'm going with this. So I have brokage. Is there anywhere for that? Don't think so. Yeah, and I would have grosbeak through an S. Not seeing anything with the C. I have Burko in column 15 for a decent score. Maybe opponent drew the Z or had it. I certainly feel they've got the blank, otherwise they would have turned over more tiles. Now Burko is blocked, HAB not good. Ohio takes an S, 2 tiles in the bag. Am I sure I don't have a bingo? And really, is there... Well, I don't think there's anywhere for brokage. There are no 7-letter lanes unless you've got an S. What about the C? I have cage. No, not seeing anything through that. My K can go here. What about curb? 40 points, wahey. And B, surely not a helpful floater for opponent. So I'm going with this. And I draw the Z. Okay. And well, opponent doesn't have a terrible rack, but I still don't think they've got anything with the B. Close to Corvette in row N. But 3 T's, I think, is tricky for opponent. I think the B is particularly unhelpful because not many BV plays. So 7 minutes on my clock, 13 on opponent. What am I going to do with my Z? I don't think I have an out with these tiles. So can I reach the triple word square? I don't think so. I've got Zig in row M. Great, just 18 points. Opponent surely going out with vet and blank. So what would opponent be doing? Veto and vote. Do either of those play? Voter onto the R. What else do they have? Just looking in row B. They have vets with the blank as an S, so they're certainly going out. And row B does score more than row N. I don't think I can get my Z tripled in row N. Oh wow, what a shame I don't have a play which places my Z above the E. Am I sure of that? Yeah, so the best I can do here is Zo. Or Azo. Let me see what these score. So Zoa for 31. That may be best. It's providing absolutely nothing. It would force the opponent to play a voter, I think, for a very low score. 5 minutes on my clock. And vets for opponent was quite a decent score, so I really don't think I'm going to do better than this. Is opponent going to miss voter? Surely not. And I suspect there are other options. Well, vets and VAE, for example. So I'm confident opponent is going out next turn. Just the solitary bingo for me with pendants. But a fantastic run for opponent. And the final score, 332 for me, 448 for opponent, a winning margin of 116 points, so well done to opponent. Let's see what I missed. Wow, brutal, brutal stuff. So it was me to go first, and I thought about Yord. Didn't like the rack leave compared to date, and also Yord placed an A next to a premium square and placed 4 floaters for opponents, and you generally reckon 2 points for each floater on the opening move as a rule of thumb. So that would diminish 16 down to 8. So is date 8 points better than Ute? It's going to be close. I think Ute is going to be close to 0, and date I would put at maybe +8, so there could be about an 8-point difference in rack leaves, in which case these moves are very, very close, and I prefer the move with the better rack leave. Now, opponent starts well with Jailed, and I play Faithed for 30, which looks fine, taking out the double-double threat and turning over tiles. And great bingo here for opponent with pro lines, but Plerion's K4, double-double available. Now, opponent has blocked unsolved. K1 unloved. Oh yeah, unloved would have been 6 more points, retaining the S. And Vulned K2, also very nice, avoiding this hotspot above the O, so either of those would have been better. Now, absolutely fantastic bingo by opponent from this really unpromising rack, although I think Gamony is good, but nowhere for it, so Monogamy played for 82, H2 also plays through the O of Ovule. Now, my rack, I played Ducks, I didn't like it, but it's top of the shop. And this is opponent's 7 random tiles, a dream pick, and they found the best play, a double-double of Morris's, other options available. But I'm also in reasonable shape, and I've got pendants, also spelt with an E. And wow, this looks very close to a bingo again, but none playable. And opponent plays Siltia, taking out the triple word danger. Gorsey E1. Gorsey and Mai. Okay, I play Yogic for 38. Yeah, I don't think there's a huge difference in those plays. Obviously, PI a better Rackley, but Gorsey sticks a G in the middle of column 1. Now, horrible rack for opponent. However, they're able to get, I was going to say 30 points for the queue, but I think they were spooked by the new bingo lane that had opened up and took the opportunity to take that out and split up the duplicate Ws, which is fine. Plus, they've got this queue spot which may remain available. My rack, I play up over 25, which is nearly on this list. What scores more? C3. C3. Oh, wow. Cooper above monogamy. That's nice for 33. Yeah, and then a whole bunch of plays with similar scores. Surely up over 25 better than Ape and the other alternatives. Now, opponent's rack. They played Chi for 31. And my rack not improving fast enough. Facey burning all those vowels for 31. Quite nice. But I play Faye for 22, keeping a more bingo-y set of tiles. Opponent plays Ween. Absy available. What do? I play Bice in the same spot for 26, keeping AER only 2 points worse than Absy and a better rack leave. Opponent plays High. Oh, wow. Okay, slightly strange move because H and V not bingo-y and HI scores very little. But maybe they had seen something which does play Havior or Haviors perhaps. Oh well, we won't know unless they comment. So opponent plays High. I've drawn terribly. Don't have a bingo and infer that opponent's sitting on a monster rack and probably the blank, which they are, and take out column 14. And I'm only sacrificing 8 points to do that. Opponent plays Ohio. Now, Burko does play B2. Wow, over the top of Ween, 48 points. That's very nice. What do? I play Curb for 40. And I prefer my play. I'm only sacrificing 8 points. Ohio takes an S. I feel opponent could have a bingo, could have a Z something something S play for a bingo-y score. And Curb takes that out. Now opponent plays bot. D1. D1 Zoa. Okay. I play it in a different spot for 1 fewer points. I don't think there's much between those. Or is there? Because A4, yeah, all of these top plays, opponent is using this V spot I've created. And if I played at D1, that wouldn't have been the case. Yeah, okay, so a few points lost at the end there. And that was the end of the game. So, wow, pretty grim stuff when you're struggling to get over 300 points and you've lost sight of victory from a long way out. But that's the way Scrabble is. When it's in your favour, that's great because you can have a breather in between games which might otherwise be close. But of course, when you're on the receiving end of this sort of play, it can be slightly discouraging. But you've just got to know it comes with the territory, and there's always the opportunity to reset your goals. Anyway, many congratulations to opponent on their victory. I hope you enjoyed watching this game. Like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you next time.